Well, he started with an extremely inaccurate tweet when he said that essentially all his predecessors had been wrong about Russia and it was their fault. That was an absurd thing to do. And he also linked that straight away to the investigation into Russian meddling in the elections. I don't know, he went in, I don't think he was briefed. There was no preparation for this summit. And he went in and talked to Putin on his own, which is always unwise. Not because you can't talk to Putin, but because there's no record of it. Later, they will each have a different memory of what they said, and there was no, as far as I could see, working out of what agenda might be or anything else at all.
To come back at you, sir, the same said professor from Princeton I listened to on the radio this morning.
I know Professor Cohen, yes.
He also pointed out that, for those who are criticising the president, that Mr. Reagan did exactly the same thing with Mr. Gorbachev, and on the back of that, they managed to eliminate one class of nuclear weapons. So one could point to that as a template.
One could, but if you did point to that, you'd have to point out it was prepared in advance.
Yeah.
There was proper discussion. Reagan had time in office to learn about some realities which he had not understood before, perhaps. And I think he was of a more modest disposition than President Trump.
What do you think this means for the state of US-Russia relations, broadly as two countries, not President Trump, President Putin, but what does it mean for the two countries going forward, given what we know and given the latest indictments out of Mueller?
Well, I think one of the troubles is that the President Trump is right to the extent that this complication about Russian interference and whether it was in any way affected the president or whatever distorts the discussion. Because he is so anxious to prove something which he has not actually been accused of, to prove that it's wrong about collusion, that it crowds into other things. The real issues are, or ought to be, Russian actions in Ukraine, Russian actions in Syria, which you may think are very strong or something, but they've slaughtered a lot of people.
Yes.
Whether the Russians have any intention of a serious relationship with the United States, which is other than antagonistic, which is doubtful. Those are real questions that need consideration and thinking, not just putting it into a kind of PR context.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.